In the heart of Jerusalem, where ancient stones meet the sky, history and destiny have always converged. For centuries, this city has witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the prayers of millions, and the unfolding of stories written in both scripture and starlight. As dawn breaks over the golden domes and winding streets, the heavens above begin their silent testimony. As night falls, the moon rises over Jerusalem, casting its glow on sacred rooftops. Across the ages, rare eclipses and blood-red moons have marked moments of prophecy and promise. NASA's Five-Millennium catalogues confirm these celestial events, real data, not myth, aligning with the most pivotal chapters in the city's story. Each eclipse, each shadow, is a marker in a divine timeline, echoing through generations. Tonight, we invite you to journey with us as we decode the heavens over Jerusalem. From the cross to the modern state of Israel, and onward to the future, discover how cosmic signs form a 2,000-year pattern of divine timing. This is not theory, but the language of the stars, timed to perfection, written for all to see. Welcome to True God Code. As the lights of Jerusalem shine beneath the night sky, we invite you to embark on a journey of discovery with us. Here, faith and wonder meet as we explore the signs written in the heavens. To stay connected and never miss a revelation, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Share this journey with friends and family. Let's discover together. The story is just beginning. Under these stars, we'll seek meaning, hope, and truth, side by side. Are you ready? Let's begin. On the night of the crucifixion, Jerusalem looked up to a blood-red moon rising over its ancient stones. NASA confirms that on April 3, 33 AD, a partial lunar eclipse appeared at moonrise, the only one visible in Jerusalem during the ministry of Christ. This was the moment Peter recalled the prophet Joel. "The moon shall be turned into blood." The heavens marked redemption's hinge as prophecy and history converged. As dawn broke, the city and the dome of the rock stood witness beneath the fading shadow, the sky echoing a promise written in both scripture and starlight. Scientific data confirms what ancient eyes saw, a blood-red moon rising as prophecy was fulfilled. The heavens, measured and mapped, bear silent testimony to a moment that changed history. On a distant hill, 3 crosses stood in silhouette as the moon's shadow lingered. Heaven's clock began its 2,000-year pattern, a celestial resonance that will return in 2033. The cross and the moon, signs in the heavens, remind us that history and prophecy move together, measured by the hand of God. On a cool spring night in April 1949, Jerusalem was alive with anticipation. Just 11 months after Israel's rebirth, families gathered beneath the open sky, hearts still trembling with the memory of war and the hope of a new beginning. As Passover was celebrated, a total lunar eclipse began to rise, its red shadow casting a quiet awe over the city. For many it felt like a sign, the heavens themselves marking this moment of restoration, as if God was writing his promise across the night. Faces turned upward, eyes shining with wonder and gratitude as the moon glowed above a land reborn. The nation gathered again at the same table of remembrance under the same blood moon that had shone in Egypt thousands of years before. The timing was exact, a heavenly confirmation that the covenant people were restored to their land, and the prophetic countdown had restarted. On the night of April 24, 1967, Jerusalem was cloaked in tension and anticipation. The city's light shimmered beneath a dark sky, as families gathered on rooftops and soldiers stood watch at the city's edge. War loomed on the horizon, and every heart beat with uncertainty. As the moon began to rise, families and soldiers alike looked upward, searching the heavens for a sign. The air was thick with hope and fear, as if the city itself was holding its breath. Suddenly, a rare central total lunar eclipse began. NASA would later confirm the shadow of Earth was perfectly centered over the moon for nearly 2 hours, a one-in-centuries alignment. The moon turned a deep blood red, casting an eerie glow over the city. Soldiers prepared in silence, their faces lit by the crimson moon. Some whispered prayers, others simply watched, feeling the weight of history pressing in. Crowds gathered in the streets and on balconies, eyes fixed on the sky as the moon's red shadow deepened. Many felt a sense of awe, a conviction that the heavens were marking a turning point for their nation. Less than 6 weeks later, Israeli forces marched into the Old City, uniting Jerusalem for the first time since 70 AD. The memory of that night, the blood moon, the prayers, the sense of destiny remained etched in the hearts of all who witnessed it. As the eclipse reached its peak, the city was bathed in an otherworldly light. For those who watched, it was more than an astronomical event. It was a sign that history and prophecy were converging, and that Jerusalem's story was about to change forever. On June 15, 2011, as the sun set over Jerusalem, the city was wrapped in a tense, expectant hush. Across the Middle East, the Arab Spring was in full force, streets filled with voices demanding change, governments trembling, and borders redrawn by the hour. In Jerusalem, families gathered on rooftops, leaders watched the news with anxious eyes, and prophecy watchers sensed history turning. That night, the longest central lunar eclipse of the 21st century began. For 100 minutes, the moon turned a deep, haunting red, a celestial symbol of upheaval, uncertainty, and the hope that always follows darkness. The heavens seemed to echo the cries and prayers of millions, marking a moment when earth and sky moved together in a dance of destiny. In the streets below, crowds surged, some in protest, some in prayer, while distant fires and banners flickered against the night. The air was thick with both fear and anticipation, as if the city itself was holding its breath, waiting for a sign from above. As the eclipse deepened, the moon's red shadow cast an eerie glow over Jerusalem. Empires seemed to falter, borders shifted, and those who watched the heavens sensed the region entering a new stage of alignment. High above, the moon blazed crimson, a silent witness to the turmoil below. Its color, both ominous and beautiful, reminded all who looked up that even in chaos, the heavens keep their appointed course. From a distance, Jerusalem's ancient skyline stood silhouetted beneath the blood moon, a city suspended between past and future, shadow and hope. When the world trembles, the heavens testify that God's plan still holds steady. On the night of July 27, 2018, the world turned its gaze skyward as the longest total lunar eclipse of the century unfolded. Over Jerusalem, the moon slipped into Earth's shadow, glowing a deep, haunting red, a celestial spectacle that lasted nearly 2 hours. Mars, burning bright beside the moon, seemed to echo the ancient stories of conflict and endurance written in the heavens. For a moment, time itself felt suspended, as if the universe was inviting all of humanity to witness a sign in the sky. As the eclipse deepened, people across continents watched together, some from city rooftops, others from the windows of airplanes crossing the night. The world felt united in awe, connected by a single, silent wonder. The airplane lights gliding through the darkness became a symbol of our shared journey, each of us moving beneath the same extraordinary sky, searching for meaning in the rare alignment above. When dawn finally broke over Jerusalem, the city awoke beneath a sky that had just told a story of shadow and light. The eclipse faded, but its message lingered. Even in the longest night, hope endures, and the heavens continue their ancient rhythm. In every ending, a new beginning rises, reminding us that Jerusalem's story and the world's is still being written under the watchful gaze of the stars. In 2025, Jerusalem will witness a rare celestial event, 2 total lunar eclipses in a single year. As the calendar turns, these dates stand out, inviting us to look up and consider their meaning. The first eclipse arrives near Purim and Passover, seasons of joy and remembrance. The city prepares, hearts full of anticipation, as families and friends gather to celebrate ancient deliverance and new beginnings. Streets fill with vibrant parades and colorful costumes, music and laughter echoing through Jerusalem. The air is alive with hope as the community rejoices in the story of freedom and faith. As night falls, eyes turn skyward to witness the first blood moon rising above the horizon, a sign that connects the joy of the present with the promises of the past. Later in the year, as the Feast of Trumpets approaches, a second eclipse graces the sky. On the ancient city walls, a shofar sounds, its call stirring hearts to awaken and be ready. The red moon glows above, a reminder that deliverance and awakening are woven together in God's design. These twin eclipses are more than astronomical events. They are a prophetic message for Jerusalem and the world, urging us to watch, remember, and prepare for what is to come. In 2029, the asteroid Apophis will sweep past Earth in a near-approach visible worldwide. Just weeks later, a total lunar eclipse will cover the skies over Jerusalem. Two global signs, one celestial, one astronomical, appearing in the same season. The year's message is clear. Creation is not random, it runs on schedule. The heavens measure prophetic time precisely, as they always have. Jerusalem listens to the heavens. As Apophis sweeps past Earth, we remember creation runs on schedule, not by chance. Weeks later, a total lunar eclipse will rise over this city. Families pause in courtyards, children point upward, and elders recall promises spoken long ago. The shadow crossing the moon is precise, predictable, and purposeful. Astronomers map it, prophets foreshadowed it, faith recognizes its timing. In the quiet, we hear a clockwork of mercy, each orbit a measured beat. Look up, Jerusalem. The same hand that set the stars still keeps perfect time over you. Precision is the language of the sky, like gears in a master watch. Cycles interlock, months, seasons, jubilees, each aligning to declare order. The eclipse that follows Apophis isn't random spectacle, it is a timestamp. Instruments confirm the minute, scripture confirms the meaning. When shadow meets light, remember the author writes in both. Count the intervals, note the symmetry, and do not fear the night. The heavens testify that purpose governs history, and that purpose points us to redemption on schedule, right on time. Exactly 2,000 years after the crucifixion eclipse, another central total lunar eclipse will rise over Jerusalem. The geometry matches the event of 33 AD with astonishing accuracy, the shadow centered perfectly. It will occur near the Feast of Tabernacles, the celebration of joy after redemption. What began at Calvary returns in symmetry, as if the sky itself completes the sentence it began 2 millennia ago. The market glows with warm light as families wander beneath the eclipsed moon. Laughter rises, spices bloom in the air, and every lantern sways like a tiny star under heaven's canopy. It is Sukkot, shelters built, tables open, joy remembered after redemption. Above, the red moon keeps perfect time, echoing the sign that began 2,000 years ago and returns now with measured symmetry. Instruments track minutes. Faith hears meaning. Parents point upward. Children listen. Elders tell the old stories. God leads. God keeps. God completes. As the shadow lingers, the city breathes a prayer of gratitude. Rejoice, Jerusalem. Watch, remember, and be ready. The author still writes in the sky. Watch the geometry unfold. Earth, moon, and sun align in precise choreography. The umbra, the darkest shadow, crosses the lunar face, while the penumbra softens its edges. Distances shift slightly, yet the timing holds. Cycles interlock like gears. Astronomers plot contact times. Faith hears meaning in the symmetry. Note the centered path. This is a central total eclipse. When alignment is nearly perfect, Jerusalem looks up, instruments confirm, and hearts remember. Shadow meets light, and a timestamp is written in the sky. Count the intervals, mark the feast days, and do not fear the night. The author measures minutes and mercy together. Order, beauty, purpose, right on schedule. 1 year after the 2033 event, another total lunar eclipse will occur on Passover. Together, these form the same feast pair seen in 33 AD, Tabernacles and Passover. The city, the feasts, the timing, all mirror the first sign. For believers, this is not superstition, but synchronization, evidence of a divine metronome still keeping perfect time above Jerusalem. Jerusalem breathes beneath the Passover moon, rooftops glowing like embers as the night slowly turns. Lights flicker, prayers rise, and the city keeps watch while the heavens keep time. Streets hush, then stir, windows brighten, the horizon warms with promise. Each heartbeat, each footstep falls in rhythm with a clock older than empires. The moon drifts west, shadows soften, and memory meets hope. Families whisper blessings, elders recall deliverance, children look up in wonder. Dawn approaches, order returns. What God began, he sustains. Jerusalem waking under a sky that measures mercy, minute by minute. Listen to the Passover metronome. Tick by tick, mercy keeps time. Each beat recalls deliverance. Each measure points forward. The moon above Jerusalem moves in ordered steps, not by chance. Prophets name the feasts. Astronomers chart the minutes. Together they agree. God's calendar is precise. As families bless the bread and cup, the heavens keep cadence. Shadow, light, remembrance, hope. Count the intervals, steady your heart, and watch. The same hand that led out of Egypt still leads today, on schedule, without hurry, without delay. NASA records a deep partial lunar eclipse over Jerusalem on 26 June 2040, nearly total with a magnitude of 0.94. It arrives exactly 7 years after the 2033-2034 anniversary pair, a heptadic interval of prophetic completeness. This event serves as a mathematical closing seal to the 2,000-year sequence. The shadow will again cover the moon above Jerusalem, as if the heavens sign their work with a final stroke. A reminder that God finishes what he begins. 7 years after the 2033-2034 pair, the calendar clicks forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, completion. Each tick is a measured mercy, a marker on a clock older than kingdoms. Astronomers chart degrees and minutes. Scripture names cycles and sevens. Over Jerusalem, shadow approaches with precision, not chaos. The moon enters the veil, and time speaks. What was begun will be finished. Count the intervals, steady your heart, and watch. Order governs the heavens. Purpose governs history. The hand that set the stars sets seasons and endings. On schedule, without hurry, without delay. Ink meets parchment, and a final stroke is drawn. What began long ago is nearing completion. Lines flow like rivers of time, each mark a record of promise kept. The page breathes, then opens into the night, and letters rise like sparks into a field of stars. Above Jerusalem, the constellations settle into order. Nothing drifts by chance. Every orbit speaks purpose. Every measure keeps time. Shadows pass, light returns, and the story resolves with a steady hand. Remember the signs, count the intervals, and take heart. What God starts, he finishes, faithfully, precisely, right on schedule. From the cross to the crown, every shadow that passed over Jerusalem told a story of redemption and return. These are not random patterns. NASA confirms their precision. The same God who appointed the stars has used them as markers of his covenant, declaring his faithfulness in light and shadow alike. For believers, these eclipses are reminders to stay watchful, for history, prophecy, and astronomy all speak with one voice. God keeps time perfectly. Night yields to morning over Jerusalem, steady and sure. Streetlights fade as windows glow, and the city exhales, returning to its appointed rhythm. Shadows retreat, colors warm, and the rooftops remember the promises whispered through the night. The moon sinks beyond the hills, and the first birds announce order restored. Every heartbeat echoes a clock older than empires. Every step finds cadence in creation's design. Markets stir, prayers rise, and doorways open to light. What felt hidden is revealed, what paused now proceeds. The heavens keep time, the earth keeps faith. As day unfolds, mercy meets the morning, and the city awakens under the same faithful sky. Count the intervals, lift your eyes, and walk in peace. God's timing is precise, His purpose is unfailing, His story still advancing. If this exploration opened your eyes to the precision of God's timeline, help others see it too. Like, subscribe, and share this video. You've been watching True God Code. Join us next time as we decode the next layer of divine mathematics written in creation itself. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth His handiwork.